these dialogues with the great scientists there. So
Thanks again.
thank you for the great comments.
Senator Coons.
Thank you, Chairman Kennedy, Ranking Member Murray. Secretary Wright, good to be with you. I just want to briefly frame, as I understand it, the Department of Energy plays three critical overall functions: maintaining our national security through the Nuclear Security Administration, investing in critical public-private partnerships that will demonstrate and deploy the next generation of energy technologies, nuclear, geothermal, oil and gas, hydrogen, and funding research, both fundamental and applied at our national labs and through many great university partnerships that ensures we remain the global leader in R&D. These functions are critical to your three major goals that I share: outcompeting China, reducing energy costs for Americans, and eliminating energy poverty across the world. And based on your background as an MIT-trained engineer and successful energy entrepreneur, I think you and I share these goals. But my core concern is that the way DOGE has impacted your workforce and the folks you've got available to carry these goals out undermine these critical goals. My understanding, and now I'm on a number of different appropriation subcommittees, and so far in every single one of them, we don't have a budget. Do you have a budget before us today, or is it a skinny budget?
So far, just the skinny budget. We're working with OMB to release more of that, but that's still a work in progress.
And it's awful skinny. I mean, it's about a page. So I'm working off of an outline, but I'm alarmed by a proposed cut of more than $1 billion to the Office of Science. That's more than 8% compared to enacted. At a time when China is investing in R&D and combined with what is going on at NSF, an independent agency, I'm concerned we're kneecapping the American science enterprise, which played such a critical role in our success in the 20th century. The skinny budget claims that your cut will only affect climate change and new green new scam research, but it doesn't define those terms, and I'm concerned we'll end up defunding critical research. The University of Delaware, my home state's leading research university, and many others in my state and around the country are alarmed by Executive Order 14222, which lowers the F&A caps on federal grants. How will your department implement this EO in a way that doesn't disproportionately impact R1 universities, but that are smaller and less well-researched than the handful of critical institutions that really have long demanded the lion's share of federal research dollars?
You're talking about the overhead percentage on
Yes.
things? When we sent it out, we invited all of the universities to reach back out to us to engage in a dialogue like I think you're proposing. So far, no one has taken us up on that effort.
Not one university has reached back out to you to say, here's how we would do it in a way that would minimize the impact?
Many sued us, but
Many sued you.
But I'm not sure.
That's
I'm not
one form of outreach.
I'm not aware of any dialogues on that. You know, and it is a sticky question, Senator Coons. And look, it's a great university, and I'm fully sympathetic of where you're coming from. And it's part of it's part of this broader effort that we want to get. And going back to your national lab science question, that'll be done bottom up at every lab. I share that national labs are a treasure. We don't want to slow down any of our critical research. But is there some fat in there? Is there stuff we're working on that's not really basic science or critical to our energy thing? I think there is, and I haven't found a lab director yet that disagrees with me. So
I have visited 4 of the national labs, been very impressed with them, look forward to continuing to support funding for them and engage with them. But I have 2 more questions, and I'll keep moving with my remaining minute.
You bet.
The bipartisan infrastructure law created hydrogen hubs and tasked DOE with implementing them, and I worked with bipartisan delegations from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, with unions, with universities, with our oil refineries, 3 of them, and we ultimately secured an award from DOE for the Mid-Atlantic Clean Hydrogen Hub. I want to thank you for sending the pre-award funding that was just received last week. Overall, this grant and leveraged private partnership would get $750 million in federal, $2 billion in leveraged private investment over a decade to create thousands of good-paying jobs. My concern is that the Hubs program is a key part of reindustrialization. And I legislatively helped create the Office of Clean Energy Demonstration, or OCED, in statute, and I'm concerned the workforce has been hollowed out and that they won't be able to actually implement this and other programs. there's others I could cite, the Loan Program Office, the Office of Manufacturing and Energy Supply Chains, and others, with something like 4,000 DOE employees encouraged to retire or terminated. You've lost about 20% of your workforce. How can nuclear, we'll take nuclear, as an emerging critical American competitive technology be supported by the Loan Program Office when the House Reconciliation Bill would gut it and your budget zeroes it out? How does LPO function at the cutting edge of energy?
I think LPO is critical at the cutting edge of energy. It is really the most efficient tool we have in the department to help emerging energy technologies. So I absolutely want to see funding. I want to see the Loan Program Office able to lean in on emerging technologies. It is our greatest bang for the buck to help technologies. So, and I know that comes to the Senate next. I'm making a plea. I would very much...
Don't enact the budget we send, enact the budget you know we need. And we may end up, forgive me, just speaking for myself in the last 10 seconds, Mr. Chairman, we may end up saying you must have this many people here and this many people here and this many people here, because when certain functions get down to a handful of people, I'd love us to see that the LPO is actually able to meet the mission.
We will be able to meet the mission.
Makowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciated that exchange.